Today, we're not just going to talk about one of the toughest moments in American history. We're going to put you right in the middle of it. You'll be facing a choice that could literally decide the fate of a revolution. And the question is simple. Would you have quit?
Just picture it. It's the winter of 1777. The wind is biting, you are completely exhausted after months and months of fighting, and your legal enlistment is almost over. You have every right to just walk away, to go home. So what do you do? For thousands of soldiers, this wasn't just a thought experiment, it was their reality.
And this is where you have to make that choice. Valley Forge. It's not just some random spot on a map. General Washington chose it because it's close enough to Philadelphia to keep an eye on the British Army, who are, by the way, comfortably settled in the city for the winter. But for you and the Continental Army, it is an exposed, unforgiving hillside.
Okay, let's break down exactly what you're facing in this moment of decision.
The past year has been absolutely brutal. Yeah, there were some victories, but there were also some soul-crushing defeats. Washington is struggling just to keep this army together. A lot of soldiers, maybe you're one of them, signed on for a short-term enlistment. 9 months was a pretty common deal, and your time is up. Let's be really clear here. This isn't desertion. This is simply choosing not to re-enlist. It is 100% your legal right.
So why would you even consider leaving? Well, let's start with the overwhelming hardships, the powerful, life-threatening reasons that made quitting seem like the only sensible choice.
You know, the raw data from the camp, it tells a terrifying story. In December, you've got an estimated 12,000 soldiers making up the army. By February, that number had plummeted to just 8,000. So, where did 4,000 people go?
Well, the answer is just grim. By February 1st, 3,989 men were officially listed as sick or unfit for duty. Think about that for a second. That is nearly half the remaining army unable to even stand for roll call. This place had become less of a military camp and more of a giant, poorly supplied hospital.
And the enemy you faced every single day? It wasn't the British. It was typhus, dysentery, pneumonia. An estimated 2,500 soldiers died at Valley Forge, not from bullets, but from disease. Your chance of dying from sickness was far, far greater than your chance of dying in battle.
Let's put a human face on these numbers. This is Dr. Albigans Waldo. He was a surgeon at the camp, and he kept a diary. And his words, they take us right into the heart of all this suffering. Here he is, a doctor, and even he admits it, he's feeling sick, discontented, and just plain miserable.
Waldo describes this relentless assault on the senses. The food is terrible, when there's any at all. The cold is inescapable. You live in a crude log hut, maybe 16 by 14 feet, crammed with a dozen other men, and it's just filled with smoke. Your clothes are rags. And he describes the horrifying sight of soldiers leaving bloody tracks in the snow with their bare feet.
And then there's the hunger. On December 21st, Waldo records a sound that echoed through the whole valley. It wasn't a cheer or a song. It was a desperate chant from starving men. No meat! No meat! That is the sound of your army on the absolute brink of collapse.
So let's recap. You're starving, you're freezing, and you're watching your friends die from disease. Your legal commitment is over, and your family's waiting for you. Leaving feels less like quitting and more like simple survival. How could anyone possibly choose to stay?
And yet, thousands did stay. The army did not just disintegrate. And to understand why, we have to look beyond all the physical misery and really grasp the powerful idea that held them all together.
These words weren't just written down somewhere. They were read aloud to you and your fellow soldiers by order of General Washington. Thomas Paine's The American Crisis was like fuel for the revolution in its darkest hour. He's speaking directly to you, acknowledging how hard things are, but also challenging you.
Paine draws a line in the sand. He coins this phrase, the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot. These are the people who are all for the cause when things are going great, but who just disappear at the first sign of real trouble. He's asking you, right now, in the dead of winter, which one are you?
Paine completely reframes your suffering. He argues that the value of what you're fighting for, freedom, is directly tied to how hard it is to win. He's telling you that this misery isn't meaningless. It's precisely what makes the prize of liberty so precious.
And then, Paine raises the ultimate stakes. This isn't just about unfair taxes anymore. He focuses on Britain's claim that it has the right to bind the colonies in all cases whatsoever. And he gives that a name: slavery.
He's telling you that you are fighting against total subjugation.
So you're faced with these two powerful competing realities, the misery of your body and the fire of this idea in your mind. Is the abstract concept of liberty powerful enough to make you endure the unimaginable reality of Valley Forge?
So we arrive right back where we started. The decision is yours and yours alone. Let's lay out the arguments one last time.
On one hand, every instinct for self-preservation is screaming at you to leave. The disease, the hunger, and that gnawing doubt that you can even win. On the other hand, you have this set of powerful ideals, the cause of liberty, your own honor, and your loyalty to the men who are freezing right there beside you.
Now, we know the historical outcome. The Continental armies survived that winter. But they didn't just survive. They trained, they drilled, and they emerged in the spring as a tougher, more professional fighting force, ready to take the fight to the British.
But please remember, that outcome was never guaranteed. It was fragile. It was built day by day, choice, by thousands of individual soldiers who had to make this exact decision. History wasn't happening to them. They were history.
So it all comes down to you, right now, in the freezing cold of Valley Forge. Your health is failing, your stomach is empty, your contract is up. The fate of a revolution rests on your decision. What do you do?